Toasted cinnamon and sugar. Okay, so there's one. And here's two. I've seen these kinds of handles on mugs that are from the Four Corners region, the cliff dwellers. And that's kind of, like I said, that's kind of why I decided to teach myself how to do this. Now, I'm going to set this next to this one. I'm going to do this one. Now, what you have to do with this, if you want it to really stay together, is you want it to look like it's braided from the top side, you know, that you can see. It's really a good idea to kind of smear the underside together, because sometimes they will have a tendency to want to pull apart just a little bit. All right, so now we've got these. It would look so much better if they were thinner, but on a mug that big, it's okay if they're a little thick. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to hold this up. I'm going to mush it together, and if you saw this and didn't know how I made it, say chances are good you go, dang, somebody braided that clay together. Okay? Yeah. Now see the backside, and the backside looks great. And some people wouldn't smear it together, but I think I'm going to. I just hate for it to separate, you know. And when I say smear it together, all I want to do is I just want to get clay that's kind of fused a little more than that. Because you know how it is. That whole shrinking, drying thing can surprise you sometime, even after you've been working with clay for a long, long time. Excuse me. Now, okay, so now what I would do is I would take my little brother, my little fettling knife. I have had this fettling knife since 1969. I shit you not. It doesn't have much left. But they don't make them like this anymore. The good, the steel ones that are like shiny.
Yeah.
No. Okay, so now I'm going to...
What is that made out of?
It's made out of steel, but it's not that shiny stainless stuff.
It's thinner.
It's very thin, you're right. Now, so I'm pretty sure that this will be a decent handle. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bend it like so, and I would let it stiffen up, but this handle will be going on here. I know Paul wants to get a shot of this. See if I can find a spot for it. I might have to squeeze it in between two heads, but it'll be going on there kind of like that. Okay? And I'll arc it a little bit more. I'll make it do what it needs to do to be a comfortable handle. But that's it. Now, let that sit here. I have one more quick demo for Ben, right?
Yeah, I'd love to see your whistle.
Yeah. Everybody loves that. So I'm going to grab a piece of clay. What do I do with my clay?
Wayne, when you attach the handle, do you score it?
Yes, I do. I sure do. Yeah, the handle thing, I've decided that spit's not good enough for the handles. And I actually did with this last batch of slip. I mixed some vinegar in with it. And so here's how the whistles start. And depending on what it's going to be, if it's going to be a frog or a bird or a turtle, it'll start out like this, like a little pinch bowl that you turn into an enclosed form. If it's going to be a dog, I make it longer, more cylindrical. If it's going to be a whale, I'll actually pinch it out so that it looks like a whale from the get-go. So, and the whole idea with this is, this little thing right here could be a little cup, It could be the beginning of a head that's going to sit on top of a statue. So the pinch process is, there's a whole lot of options. I first got into pinching, as a lot of other people did. I was always interested in hand building, but when that first Finding One's Way with Clay book came out by Paulus Berenson, oh my God. I mean, I just looked at that thing and I said, I'm saved. You know, I was like a teenage boy who couldn't dance, but cha-cha saved me. Because we could all cha-cha. So now I'm going to kind of work this back in. And, you know, when I'm doing these things, I think people who have visited me in my studio go, what's in those Tupperware containers? I go, well, there's 12 duck bodies in that one. There's 8 dog bodies in that one. And there's like 10 frog bodies, and you know, because that's what I got to do, because it's crazy to pinch one out and try and make it work. You got to pinch it out, let it sit up, do the necessary things that you have to do when the timing is right, and they'll all work. Now, and it is, you know, you can just kind of see, I'm kind of like the potter wasp. You ever see those little pots that they make? Oh God, they're incredible. But that's what they do. They take little pieces of clay and they end up making a little pot. And then they put paralyzed spiders in the pot, lay eggs in there, and seal the pot up. And when their little eggs hatch, the paralyzed spiders are dinner. But the little pots are gorgeous. I mean, they're textured looking, they're fabulous, they got great forms. Okay, so now the thing I have to do is I have to close this up, okay? And so that I have an end that I can push my sharpened popsicle into, and do the necessary things that I need to do to make it whistle. And I could conceivably make this whistle. It won't whistle very, very well because the clay's too wet. And when I blow into it, the fact that the clay is wet and my breath is moist means that it will cause that little sharp edge that you make to vibrate and lose its ability to make a noise. So now, yeah, a long time this one. It's got a crack in it, but I keep it because they don't make wooden spoons like they used to. They're real crappy kind of Chinese wood, and you know this is like a little hardwood spoon. Same with clay tools. I can remember when I had clay tools that were made out of like orange wood and pear wood. Oh, they were beautiful. And you'd work on them, and the skin, the oils from your skin would penetrate into them, and they just turn into these little precious objects. Now some of those clay tools are just made out of junk wood. But I never like to have a clay tool made out of wood that has a sealant on it, because I think the clay sticks to it. I like to be able to just wash it off, keep them clean. Okay, so there's my whistle body. Okay? So, demo's done.
Hey,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
can you go past the body?
Well, at which point would you, is this,
That's like stopping at the middle.
All right, I'll try.
is this the point
Don't
where
stop.
you would turn it into an animal?
No. What I do, I always make them work first.
Okay.
I always make sure that the hole's in there, you can blow into it, and it will work. Because you don't want to put all that effort into making one and then blow into it, struggle with it, and it doesn't work. And I've had that happen. Not recently, but every now and then. But the tools that I use, a sharpened popsicle stick, and I'm going to tell you guys, they don't make popsicles like they used to. I'm serious. I've had this one for a long time. And I pick them out. You know, you get a box of those craft popsicle sticks, you can see some of them are all twisted, and they got like weird grain in them. I want the perfect popsicle stick. So I'll shove this down in here like this very carefully.
You should go into a Chinese grocery and get the rice paddles.
Yeah,
Those are nice.
yeah. friend of mine sent me one of those back from Japan. It works great. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead, in spite of my experience saying you shouldn't do this, I'm going to go ahead and cut out the little piece of clay that you have to cut out, and I'm going to draw before I cut, and you probably won't be able to see it from way back there. You see what looks like an upside down U? Can you see that? Okay, that tells me that this is positioned in the right place. If you put it out here, it doesn't work very well. If you put it here, it doesn't work very well. If you put it where your lip can cover it, it doesn't work very well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to very carefully remove this. I have a friend who I watched make these, and he would cut the clay out, and then he would take a lighter and just let it stiffen up a little bit. So now I have another popsicle stick. It's got a square end. And this is all about just kind of paying attention to little things.